My name's Chris, I walk my cats. I should probably clarify that. I stand on a sidewalk with leashes connected to cats that are laying there. We walk. I don't know if you guys walk your cats, but like when you do, you have to have a harness. You can't just do it with a collar, right? You have to have a full body harness. And I went shopping for harnesses for one of my cats. She's especially fat. So I'm thinking like I might need to get a large, maybe an extra large, and it turns out that I have a medium dog. Should probably walk her more. When I came up here, you guys are probably like, hey, that's that guy from the National Geographic Channel who lives with bears and pretends to be one of them and behaves like them so that they think he's a bear. No, not me. However, I am kind of like that guy because I do live with my cats. And in order to convince them that I'm one of them, I just lay around all day and don't do shit. Wait for my wife to come home and feed us. I used to work at a pizza place, surprise. There's a pizza place in Minneapolis where they'd make us delivery drivers dress up as superheroes to deliver the pizza. You can look it up, it's called Galactic Pizza. And I'm not kidding, like we had to wear like spandex and a cape, a belt, the whole thing. And a lot of people would ask me, they'd be like, hey Chris, isn't it kind of humiliating that you have to wear tights at work? And I would say, no. What's humiliating is that I deliver pizzas. Like, I wouldn't feel any better about my job if I had a sport coat on. My boss used to send me on errands all the time, like he'd send me to the bank to get change or to the grocery store to get laughed at. Family size. And one day he sends me to the bank to get change, and being the lazy delivery driver I was, I just blew it off for a while. But while I was blowing it off, that bank got robbed. I'm really glad I wasn't there. Because if I were, there would be footage on every news station of armed robbers coming in to take over a bank. And in the background, a superhero just standing there not saving the day. It's a bird! It's a plane! It's a grown-ass man who should have graduated college. That's what it really is. I've worked in a lot of restaurants. Does anyone here work in a restaurant? You hear that? That's happiness. I'm serious, working in a restaurant's cool. It's like the hours are cool, the people are cool. But like there's one thing that I've noticed in every restaurant that I've ever worked at. And that's that there's always one massive douchebag who tries to communicate with the Hispanic workers with like the 5 words of Spanish he knows. You like walk up to him and be like, hola, amigo! Cerveza? Mucho cerveza? Baño! Like, I've been thinking to myself, like, if I ever moved to Mexico and got a job at a restaurant, would they do that to me? You know, like, hello, friend! Beer! Much beer! Toilet bucket! In the corner! It's fun though. I used to work in an office. Anyone here work in an office? Cubicle? Something like that? There's way too much enthusiasm for a job like that. Not cool. Yeah. I used to work at one and I was fired. Maybe it'll happen to you, it'll be great. When I was fired, what they did, like they just told me that I just wasn't a good fit. And that was it. Like, you just don't fit. Like, the job is a round hole and I was a pig shaped like an employee that took 3 45-minute bathroom breaks every day. It was legitimately cool to be fired though, because like everyone there was just in an awful mood. There was a guy there who had been there for 25 years, and he was so miserable that every day he'd bring cookies to share with everyone to make him feel better. You know, and he's like one of those really annoying guys. He'd be like, "Hey, you want two? Because you can have two if you want. As long as there's one left for me." And one day he asked me, he said, "So Chris, what do you think about the job?" And what I thought was that if I was still there in 25 years, I was probably going to bring in a gun and share my bullets with everyone. "Hey, do you want two? Because you can have two if you want. As long as there's one left for me." I didn't fit. I did not fit. No, didn't fit. Actually, I think the worst job in the world is being a miner. Any miners in the house? Good. It is though, because like you read about it all the time, even like a week ago. Like miners will have these really awful accidents, and it's a really dangerous job, right? And sometimes they'll be stuck in the ground for like weeks at a time, and that's awful. However, the rescuers are always missing out on a huge opportunity to play a prank on those guys. They're in the ground, you can do whatever you want to them. Like, I think the rescuers should hire a whole bunch of Chinese people to be on the surface when the miners get to the top. Bring it all the way, buddy! I like doing this. I like, this is a fun job. This is, by the way, this is like the best club in the country. I don't know if you guys knew that. Legitimately, and this isn't pandering. This place is the shit. The shit, as the kids say. I don't know if you noticed on the way in, or like, you know, in the bar area, they have like the pictures of the comics who performed here, and that's really cool. A lot of really great comics. Some clubs put up pictures of comics who did not perform there. Because right now one club was like George Carlin, and like the club opened like a year ago. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's dead. He died. And you are full of shit. Like pictures of just people who've never, like I think they, like the designer of the Vikings stadium should take that same approach, you know what I mean? Like he should just like put a statue of Joe Montana in the front. Did he play here? No. No. But he was really good. For a different team. It's good. It's fun. It's a fun job. I get to travel like all over the place. I get to, I get to go to Wisconsin, Iowa, North Dakota. I've been to South Dakota and Montana. It's a glorious job. It really is. There's one thing that I've noticed though, and that's like if you go like 2 hours outside of any major city, for some reason, there's a massive adult superstore. What the hell are they doing out there? I'm not gonna lie, I always want to go into one, but I'm scared that it's a setup from one of those mega churches. If you walk in and then, "We got you, pervert! You're gonna look at boobies. Read this book instead." There's one in Iowa called the Porn Barn. You're not messing around. That's what it is. It's a barn full of porn. That was my favorite. Like, I just imagine that that's a farm that's been in the family for hundreds of years. And they finally had no choice but to give it to the shittiest grandkid they had. Yeah, Dad, I don't really like cabbage or carrots as porn. It's my thing. Porn barn. Sorry. There's a market for it, though. I mean, if you go online for 10 minutes, you'll see some crazy shit. I saw a product online called Max Load. You know what I'm talking about? Well, what it is it's a pill that a guy takes. And, well, you know. It increases his load. You know, because that's what every girl wants. More load. Right, ladies? Like, how many times have you said to yourself, like, well, he's a nice guy. And he's handsome, and my parents like him. But there's one thing. He just keeps blowing these weak-ass loads. I want to take a full bottle of these pills and not tell my wife. Maybe then she'd understand how much I do clean up when she's not around. When I'm suddenly hosing her against a wall like a civil rights activist. I shall overcome. I need health insurance, guys. Desperately. It's like, you know, it's really nice that I'm married, though. Here's the thing, like, the thing about being married that's really cool for me is that, like, I was always really bad at breaking up with people, right? So I was just the worst at. Like, one time, I went on a date with this one girl, and I knew it wasn't really going to work out. So, like, I couldn't tell her at the end of the date, though I didn't know how to say it, so I agreed to a second date. And then I was like, okay, on the second date, she'll figure it out. And on the second date, that didn't happen, and I didn't know how to say it because I'm an idiot. I don't know how to say stuff. And then like a couple years later, I married her, and we just had a kid. And it's like, when's she gonna figure this out? Not interested. I did have a kid though, and that's really cool. I had a kid. I have a 5-week-old son. Yeah. Thank you. I stayed in there the whole time. That's all it takes. I don't know if you guys knew that. That's pretty much it. Just don't leave. Just stay. Stay in there and you'll have one. It's cool. Like the build up to having our child was the coolest part. You know, just like the anticipation and thinking about it, right? But like I realized I said a lot of sexist things. Right? When I was thinking about having a kid, it just happened. It just came out of my mouth. Like I said this to my wife. I was like, you know, I really hope we have a boy, so I have someone to play catch with. And then she was like, hey, girls can play catch too. And I was like, hey woman, you will speak when I allow you to speak. Never said anything like that before. Just came out. The ultrasound is really cool. That was the moment when, like, you realize, and for those of you with kids, you know what I'm talking about. That's when it's like you see it and go, oh, that's the life that we created. She had a lot of popcorn that last week, but that's real. That's a real call. I believe her now, and it was cool. It's like it's a beautiful moment. However, like it was a little shitty because the woman who worked at the ultrasound clinic was the biggest bitch that I've ever met in my entire life. I think it's a terrible job to be a shitty person at. You can be shitty anywhere. You can be shitty at the DMV. You can be shitty at Sears Parts Direct. They'll give you a raise there. No. They suck. But not at the ultrasound clinic, right? Like we walk in and she's like, do you want to know what the sex is? And like we were kind of waffling because like my wife definitely didn't and I kind of did, and she gave us like a half a second. She goes, well, do you or don't you? It's like, oh shit. No, fine, we don't. We don't. Is there any way you could find out if it's going to be a massive bitch? Because we're crossing our fingers. It's not one of those. I don't want to paint the room black. I want to be a good dad. I do. I really like. My dad was okay, and I want to be better than him. Like I want to take his good qualities, but avoid the bad ones. You know, like I don't ever want to pawn my kid's bicycle for gambling money. I don't want to do that. But I do want to buy him a bicycle with gambling winnings. Yeah. That part was awesome. Yeah, dad time. Yeah, so yeah, I just gotta grow up. Like I said, I don't have health insurance. I'm one of those guys who like, I'll have health insurance for like 1 month every 5 years. So like last summer, I got to go to the doctor, which was great. The problem is, like, though, the doctor didn't know that. You know, he didn't know that I had 5 years of issues to talk about, and we had 10 minutes. So when I go in for the visit, all he wants to talk to me about is how I have a drinking problem. Because I wrote down on the form that I have 10 drinks a week. Which is way less than the amount of drinks I have per week. So for the entire time he sat there and lectured fake me on how if things get really bad, I'll become real me. Yeah, that would be pathetic, Doc. 60 a week? No, I don't want to get there. Then my life would suck. It's good right now at 10. You guys ever been so broke that you prepay for $1's worth of gas? You know what I'm talking about? I had to do that once. Kind of humiliating. I walked into the station and like no one was in there, so like at that point everything's fine. And I was like, hey, $1 on 5. And end of that transaction. And sadly walked out to the pump, and when I did, like I grabbed the nozzle, right, and I squeezed it, and nothing came out. And a couple minutes went by and I actually thought to myself, is this what you get for $1? Fumes. But instead I walked back into the station, and before I could even say anything, the cashier goes, do you just want your $1 back? No! Clearly I need the gas. I wasn't driving around with a full tank. Oh hey, I could squeeze another tablespoon in here. She's like, alright, try it again. And I go out to the pump, I squeeze the nozzle, nothing is coming out. And a couple minutes go by and she just speaks over the intercom, and by this time, there are like other people at the pumps, rich people with like $20, $30 worth of gas. And she speaks and she goes, alright, I'll reset it! But don't go over $1! Yeah, that's not humiliating at all. So she resets it, I squeeze the nozzle, still nothing is coming out. A couple minutes go by and she just sends an employee out there, and I can tell that he's really pissed. Because they already lost all the profit they had on this deal. You know what I mean? Like the amount of electricity it took for her to speak over the intercom put them in the red. But he figured it out, and he decided he was going to pump my gas for me. So he grabs unleaded and he's about to put it in my car. But there's one problem. At the time, my car required premium. So I had to say to this guy, oh no, 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 stop, sir. Premium. I would like $1 worth of your finest gasoline. It's like buying a flat screen HD 5-inch TV. 1 egg of caviar. A caviar. Caviar. About a caviar. You know, one time I had a really good day, and I prepaid for like a full tank of gas. It was a great day, great day. And here's the thing though, when I got up to my car, I totally forgot about it, and I just drove away. It's a lot like a gas and go, but the opposite. It's a buy and fly. You should see the look on your own face when you realize you've just been ripped off by you. Saw a car accident once where a guy just drove away. That was kind of weird. It wasn't like a major accident, but it was enough. Like, it was at a four-way stop, and this guy gets T-boned, right? And it was enough pressure that it actually knocked him unconscious. the guy who got hit. And so like all these people, like they went out to help, you know, some guys on the phone with the cops, I'm out there. And I go to open the door, and when I do, it makes a noise that wakes him up. And this is exactly what he does. He goes. And then he drove away. And the guy on the phone with the cops goes, "Oh, you don't need to come. He gave us a thumbs up." But that just proves that a thumbs up cures everything, right? Right? Like you ever watching a football game and some guy gets hit really hard, he's being carted off the field, everyone's watching, they're really worried. But all he has to do, and everybody cheers. Hey look, he can move his thumb! The thumb's going, so I bet his legs are fine too! But a thumbs down means that everything is not okay, right? And just one of these times I want to see one of those football players getting carted off the field. No! I am not okay! That hurt really, really bad! You boo me! You boo me. You guys, I'm 31 years old. You know what that means? It means I'll never wear a condom again for the rest of my life. That's true. I made up that rule. It's not law or anything, but it's a new rule. Once you're 31, you never have to wear a condom again in your life, and if you do, you're a dipshit. Get it off. Enjoy your life. Feel things emotionally and physically. It's fun. You're doing it wrong. Here's how I can prove that condoms are bullshit for sure. Okay. No one's ever said I love you while wearing a condom. Unless it was immediately followed by, so can I take this off? Because I love you. Here's another rule I came up with. You don't have to pull out anymore once you're 31. I'll never pull out again in my life. I won't do it. I'm going to enjoy life. I'm staying in there, and if you leave, you're an idiot. Stay in there. Why would you leave when it's about to be the best part? Are you a dipshit? Stay in there. Dorothy's about to meet the wizard, and you're going to go out in the lobby and throw your popcorn in the trash? You're an idiot. Enjoy it. You guys, I'll leave you guys on this. I don't know if you guys watched that Michael Jackson hologram show that was terrible, but I saw some people who did, and I overheard them talking about it, and I realized that, like, whenever an artist dies, everyone always says that they've died too soon, even if they're way past their prime. Like, I heard someone talking about that, and they're like, yeah, it's a shame, he was so talented, he died too soon. Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with Michael Jackson's career, but he could have died 30 years earlier, right after Thriller, and it would have been right on time. And it makes you realize there are a lot of artists out there who used to be talented, right? And they're way past their prime. They could have died a long time ago, like Metallica, for example. They used to be really good. They could have used a small engine plane crash in 1989. It smashed right into U2's tour bus. And the shrapnel from that could have killed a little boy on his bike, named David Matthews. Would have been right on time. I like to call that joke, and justice for all. Or it's a beautiful day. Or crash into me. Alright, thanks guys. I'm Knutson. Enjoy the rest of your show.